Here we go in 3, 2. Not once during these playoffs have I done what I'm about to do.
Oh shit.
I briefly touched on it in one game against Dallas. Right here, right now, this is justified. Ask anyone in oil country. This has always been an issue with the Oilers in years previous. And if you heard previous podcasts, you know this. If you're a fan of the Oilers, you know this. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final was the worst officiating I've seen this entire fucking playoffs. Where do I start?
Yeah, seriously.
Bro. R2, he's a fun-loving guy. The dude loves the Oilers.
R2 was pissed.
R2 was pissed. Little do people know, his voice box is near his undercarriage. The same cannot be said for others in the Stanley Cup Final. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's okay. Caleb, you know. You've been producing all these podcasts. You know I haven't bitched about the officiating like I'm about to. Normally, the officiating's one of the biggest talking points of the Oilers playoffs, of Oilers games, of big games that the Oilers are part of, right?
Oh, yeah.
Normally, that's like a huge talking point throughout a playoff run, throughout like these big games. If you've been watching, you know that I haven't bitched about it that much whatsoever. Like, I think I bitched about it once during this entire playoff run. Right?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you've been...
This is my time to fucking bitch.
Oh, shit, here he goes.
I'm gonna... Okay. Now that we eliminated what was wrong with the mics, because it took us a while. We had to troubleshoot this shit. I gotta stand up for this. I thought the officiating throughout the playoffs was fair, was good, was legit. Not once did I fucking blow up like this. I'm doing my Trump hand movements for a fucking reason. Trying to get a point across to you. I feel like I'm cutting a WWE promo. The officiating in Game 2 was straight fucking bullshit. Episode over. That's it. I should just sit down and be done with it. The two egregious calls, as we all know, puck over the glass in our own zone.
Easy.
And here's the trippy thing. The fucking refs, the officials, came together and talked about it. And they're like, I wish I was a fly on one of those helmets to hear what the fuck they were saying. Because if you looked at the replay, as Chris Knobloch did, as we all did, it was clearly in the defensive zone when the puck was flipped out. The second big blunder on the officials was that McDavid breakaway. Oh my God! Not once did he get fucking hooked. And this was you got to keep in mind, this was after when Bouchard got called for the slash.
Where he touched him with his stick.
Yeah. Yes. Regular season, they let that call go in the regular season a lot of times. That's more of a regular season call. That it would happen in the regular season. I understand that, but they called that. Kachuk did that 4 times, basically. If you want to count through the legs, the balls count as 2.
Yeah.
On a breakaway. And I said this last night. Everyone knows that. Everyone that was here knows this. If McDavid would have fell during that breakaway, he would have got a penalty shot. But that's not in McDavid's blood. That's not what he does.
It's not what our team does.
No. That's not what Oilers do. We don't embellish. We don't dive. We draw calls based on our hard play. We don't do it the cheap way, like some of these other like most of these other teams. I gotta sit down, or else I'm gonna kick over something here. This is my time to vent. This is my show, and I haven't bitched about any of the officiating because I thought it was fair throughout the playoffs. But last night's game 2, that was fucking bullshit. Literally. I don't know if I've ever stood up on one of these podcasts, man. This might be a first.
Yeah, it's a good look, yeah.
This might be a fucking first. But I have to. And you know me. I'm in sports broadcasting. When I call a game in hockey, I try to call it down the middle. Not like I'm saying like I'm one of these big wigs or whatever. I'm just saying I like a good game at the end of the day. Obviously, I'm a huge Oilers fan, as you can fucking see. But when it's as egregious as it was last night, you would be crazy to say that that was a fairly called game, because it wasn't. And maybe someday someone will look back on this episode 94 of This Week in Sports, and it might go against me of getting a particular job here or there. But I just have to bitch on my own podcast because, in my opinion, and in so many people's opinion, that was not a fairly called game last night. But with that said, Florida overall, I think, played a better game in Game 2 than they played in Game 1. Obviously, we were the better team in Game 1. We lost it.
100%.
Yeah. Game 1 we lost because of Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky was the star of the show. He stopped everything. We outshot him. We outplayed him. Game 2, I think ultimately, I hate to say it as an Oilers fan, I think the better team did win. I hate to say it. I hate to fucking say it. But that doesn't discount the fact that the referees fucked up. Simple as that.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Simple as that, dude. Dude, you see me last night, dude. I was livid.
The officiating definitely didn't hurt them.
No, exactly. And say we get a so the puck over the glass, that should have been a penalty. Let's say we get that penalty. Okay. I could live with having that penalty, having a power play off that, and then McDavid not getting the penalty shot. Right?
Sure.
Or vice versa. Right? But the fact that the two of those egregious calls were not actually penalties, mind blowing to me.
And then the regular bullshit throughout.
Yeah.
Roughing.
Kneeing. Oh, you're gonna make me relive this again, man.
But like roughing, like what do you mean roughing? Like, did you not see the roughing when they had our fucking guy in a headlock? Who was that? Bouchard? They had Bouchard in a headlock?
Bouchard was in a headlock. No one's seen that.
Yeah. We don't call roughing for that.
No one's seen that.
But they call roughing when what? When we play regular playoff hockey? The stick. The stick they called slashing or whatever.
Slashing like that in the fucking playoffs?
Seriously. Like, when we were watching that live, the call came, slashing. We were like, what the fuck?
We were wondering where the penalty was.
Yeah. And then, as soon as after he was in the box and we continued to watch, you and I both counted, there's a slash.
There's a slash.
There's a slash.
If you're basing it on that.
If you're basing it on that. If
Yes.
that's your standard for a slash, I just counted 6 slashes in the last 30 seconds.
Period. Done.
And
Dude.
some of them were way more than what that was called for. So
that was barely a penalty in the regular season, that slash.
when it's bullshit call after bullshit call after bullshit call, and then there's especially those 2 big ones.
Yes. Non-calls. Yes. That's where I fucking kicked the coffee table.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I was pissed. I was so fucking pissed last night. I still am pissed today Caleb, when I went to work, when I was at work, every time I think about the game, oh,
dude,
people would think I would psycho. I was like walking by myself, like to my work area.
Yeah.
I'm just like, fucking refs, man. Just
yeah, no, I had a terrible day today.
Yeah.
Everyone knew it.
Yeah.
As soon as we start talking,
dude. As soon as I got into work tomorrow,
yeah,
because I got in there like 30 seconds late for the meeting.
Yeah.
And I just had a scowl on my face. I'm like, don't no one talk to me. Because first of all, I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with me in the morning. Don't talk to me. And everyone knows that, I think. No one talks to me in the morning. Give me like a break. Give me a few hours in. Yeah, whatever. Okay, whatever. I'm into the groove. But as I'm sure this was the case with you, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say the same thing I said to my colleagues, the same thing I've been saying on Facebook all day.
Yeah.
Imagine someone new, which there's a lot of new people watching hockey right now.
That's a good point. You brought this up last night.
It's the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
I brought this up last night.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup Finals. The two greatest players that are currently in the league are playing in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yes.
The last Canadian team.
Yes. Imagine a new person watching it.
Yeah.
And then
and this is their impression of the game. This is their impression that the best, fastest player can't be the best and fastest. That speed and skill actually doesn't matter because it's okay to hook him 3 times over in between the legs. A new person watching that is going to think that's just what hockey is. That's the sport.
Yeah.
That it's okay just like, oh, that's how you stop the best player is you hook him. No. That you broke the rules right there.
Preach, brother, preach.
And you're now saying to your new audience, your potential new fans, that's how the sport is played. Fucking unacceptable.
Completely unacceptable. Because think about this. If you compare the NHL to other sports, which is hard to do because it's different sports, but just the league itself. Let's start with the NFL. The NFL protects its stars no matter what.
Yep.
All the great quarterbacks, they made rules to protect the quarterbacks. Those are the stars.
Yeah.
Those are the people that make the money. Those are the people that sell the jerseys. Those are the players. Those are the athletes that make the world go round in the NFL. The NBA, the NBA is a completely different thing as far as officiating, but just as far as the stars are concerned.
Yeah.
They want to showcase their stars. They want to make their stars look good, so they implement rules.
Yeah.
They call certain fouls against players that go after the stars, and they protect their stars.
That don't let the stars showcase what's great about the game.
Exactly. And then the MLB, their stars just go off. That's a different topic in itself. But the NHL does not do a good job of not only showcasing their stars. They just don't. Period. If you look around commercials and the advertisements of the NHL, they don't showcase their stars as much as they should.
No,
they should
does a better job.
They should pimp out their fucking stars. They should be like, these guys are fucking nuts. They do a little bit of that, not enough, especially in the Stanley Cup Final, especially when it's the Oilers. I'm going to say that right fucking now.
And they could be way bigger if they did.
Yes, they did. And second of all, they do not protect their stars.
Yeah.
They don't. Well, at least when you're not playing for Edmonton.
Seriously. Or a Canadian team in general, but especially Edmonton.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it would be different if it was in a different city in Canada. But we'll not get into that fucking bullshit.
But let's put it this way.
I'm wearing a Hockey Night in Canada jacket too, which is the funniest thing.
You're actually supposed to be much more...
This is my show, and this is my episode to bitch. I haven't bitched all fucking playoffs long. I haven't bitched this entire This Week in Sports series this much.
Always peaking.
I'm peaking. I don't give a fuck if I'm peaking. I'm peaking right now as far as pissness. If that's a word.
Pissness?
Pissness. I'm peaking as far as pissness. I don't give a fuck. I am pissed. And this is my avenue to vent. My therapist heard enough. She hung up on me. My psychiatrist does not exist. And this is my outlet. Fuck the refs in Game 2. Bobrovsky, they won the game in Game 1 fairly and square because they're goalie. Okay? Game 2. They were the better team. Sure, they should have won. But that does not take away from the fact that the refs should have called a fair fucking game.
And they took. You know what happened? The refs took away our fighting chance. Is really what it was. Because the team that's the underdog in the game can still win sometimes.
Facts. And I'm fucking sweating right now. Well, I mean, the underdog won it in game 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, some positives, I guess, was, well, I was going to say killing off that 5-minute power play, but we got a 4-on-4. We got a call, and we scored on that, our lone goal.
34 power play kill streak came to an end just barely right at the end of their power play.
Yeah. I mean, it was going to come to an end regardless.
For sure.
Yeah.
But 34, we got to be proud of that.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Is the studio audience still alive out there or no?
They have a little bit of. Yeah, there they are.
Oh, yes, fucking rights they are. Dude, I'm sweating in front of these lights. You got me riled up here. Not you, just this whole fucking bullshit.
We've also been sorry about the click the last couple episodes. We finally figured out what it was, and this will be a click-free episode, folks. Click-free.
Well, say that again, and I'll do it with the hand gestures that I've been doing.
This will be a click-free episode. Believe me. The click, we've eliminated it. We've completely abolished the click, folks. We will nuke the click. We will completely Okay. Right.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah. So I had to get that out of my system. It felt good actually getting it out of my system. Doesn't mean I'm not still pissed, but
you know what? We're coming back to referees that we also know. Obviously, like, it's not like they're incapable of making bad calls, but at least we're used to these refs. The refs that we've had all season, the refs that we've had all playoffs, the refs that we had in Florida were brand new refs to us.
None of them are names that have been established, and which is weird. But I obviously got to bring that new blood in for referees. But let's move on.
And we got home ice advantage.
I think Florida's not fully aware of what they're about to get into. Because think about it. Sunrise, Florida. The beach is there. The bitches are over there. The club's over there. The schnee-schnee's over there. Dude.
This is all we got.
Hockey's at the maybe 25 on the list. Hockey's, what's above 1? Do you go into the negatives? No, you don't go into the negatives. No, hockey's number 1. I'm just thinking mathematically. Is there anything higher than number 1? Mathematically?
I mean, mathematically, 1's pretty low, but
yeah,
like 2.
But I guarantee when Florida lands, there's diehards that know where they. Maybe I shouldn't say this. People know where they land and know how to chirp them. We're not unclassy here. Don't be a fucking idiot. But we know how to chirp them. We know where they'll be. We know what room you'll be. Just kidding.
All right. Okay.
No, I'm kidding. No, but I'm just saying, point is, Florida doesn't know what they're coming into. Because we only play them twice a year. They only come here once a year.
Word.
We're taking game 3.
Word.
We're taking game 4. And we're tying the series this weekend. Oh, okay. We got to keep the ball rolling here, though, because I could be here all night talking about the Stanley Cup Final. Thank God we're in the Stanley Cup Final, obviously.
Of course.
Busy fucking few days, man. Busy few weeks for your boy. I keep saying it. But this past weekend, I was doing another announcing gig that I'm very proud of, and let me just gloat a little bit. I was doing Indian Relay once again in Strathmore Stampede Grounds, and had an absolutely incredible time. Shout out to Red Sky Events and all the staff there. and we may or may not. Or no, there's a good chance. There's a really good chance we're gonna have a special episode coming up here, based on Indian Relay, and it was an amazing event. Your boys on the APTN roster now. I guess they allowed me to. I signed their waiver, APTNs, so I may as well be able to shout it out. The series that I was part of. I think
the
so,
first
right?
season's out, right?
First season's coming out. First season's, they wanted me to promote it on the mic there. So you think it would be all right if I promote it here?
If they're already promoting it publicly, then of course.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So Horse Warriors on APTN premieres on September 4th, and it's about Indian Relay. They follow Indian Relay teams on their circuit, and it was a privilege this past weekend to be part of it, part of the production in Strathmore. And it's the funny thing is, I didn't even expect APTN to be there, bro. No one told me APTN was going to be there. Like, I show up, and I think they just come up to us because I just get there and they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" Hey, just introducing themselves, and they're like, "We're from APTN." I'm like, "Hey, I'm the announcer for this weekend's races," and they're like, "Oh, really? You have a great voice, this and that, right?"
That's sick.
Yeah, and they're like, "Yeah, do you mind?" This is like the very quick version of it. We'll get into it, I think, a little further.
Well, you didn't tell me the full thing about it. Like, yeah, so they came up to you.
Okay, yeah, may as well get into it now. So yeah, I get there Friday afternoon, getting set up for the races Friday evening, and all of a sudden there's like these dudes with the headphones on and the camera, or I don't think they had the camera there initially, but the producers came up to me, introduced themselves, and I told them, "Hey, I'm the announcer," and introduced Kimberly Breton, who hopefully she better be. Kim, you're coming on the pod. Introduced themselves, we introduced ourselves, and they're like, "Yeah, we're following Putcher Relay, one of the relay teams." And we're like, "No way. Dude, I didn't expect this to happen." So we just get to talking, and they could see my charisma and how I do things and how I'm so like enthusiastic about Indian Relay. So they're like, "Would you like to do an interview?" I go, "Of course." That ain't a thing but a chicken wing. And then, so I had a bunch of prep to do. So I'm running around all over the track and getting my stuff together. And then they're like, "Hey, Jacko, come here. Signed a release and all that. So I think that's why I can talk about it. And they wanted me to promote it on the mic. So they did an interview with me right in the grandstands, before any of this shit popped off, dude. Like, before any of the races happened or anything, they just have a camera on me, a couple sound guys. They mic'd me up. I was mic'd up the entire weekend, dude. They had a mic on me every morning before the races would start. The sound guy would come up, could put a mic on me.
That's sick.
And then they'd have a camera on me in the booth the entire weekend. But on the Friday, yeah, they interviewed me, and I do what I do. Did my thing, and I think they were impressed by it. And so Horse Warriors premieres September 4th, APTN. That's season 1. They were recording season 2 in Strathmore Rodeo Grounds, where we were doing our event. So and it couldn't have been scripted better, because Putcher Relay ultimately won the entire event.
Spoilers.
Hey, I could talk about it. Who cares?
Spoilers for a thing coming out 2 Septembers from now.
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't scripted it better, because the team that they're following wins the entire thing. It's perfect. And this team's actually pretty good. They're from Saskatchewan. They stopped here. They're going down to Montana, and APTN's following them the entire way. So that was crazy. It was like the most Hollywood production or anything that I've been part of. Just, we were doing one of our team meetings before the race, and you had like 3 cameras around us and moving around us. They had the sound guys, the boom guys.
Yeah.
They had me mic'd up, and it was just like, it was trippy. And my colleagues were some were a little bit more nervous than others, and we'll get into that in a special episode. I'm hyping this episode up. This better be this better happen, and I think it will. I swear, it will. It will. But all in all, it was a successful event of Indian Relay. I got my feet a little bit more soaked in regards to announcing horse racing, which is a ton of fucking fun. There's horse racing, then there's Indian Relay, though. Indian Relay is like nothing like you've ever seen before. If you don't know what that is and you're watching this, that's crazy.
Welcome.
You're
clearly new.
Yes, but Google Indian Relay. Do it. It is the most extreme sport you will see. It's horse racing. It's three laps on a... No. Let me bring it back. 3 horses. 3 laps. 1 rider. Indian Relay. And it's all bareback. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, like, a rider takes a horse, and there's obviously other teams around it. There's, like, usually 4 to 6 teams. They race around a track on 1 horse. They bring it in front of the stands. They jump off 1 horse, and then they jump onto another horse and take off. They take another lap, jump off that horse, and jump onto another horse, another lap. And it's carnage. It's crazy. And it's all bareback, which is the most intense shit ever. I was talking to one of the PAs from APTN on the last day there, this younger white chick, and she's like into it. Like she's like totally about Indian Relay now. Becca is her name. Shout out Becca from APTN. And she's like, yo, anyone who rides with a saddle, I look down on now. Now that she's been covering Indian Relay for the last couple of years. And I had so much more interactions with the teams this time, just having my confidence up, being around, because like I was a noob before with Indian Relay, right? But I've done it so many times now that I went down to some of the teams when they were practicing, and just like seeing it like really up close, like closer than me and you are right now, and just like seeing it and like seeing how intricate it is and how difficult it is. And
crazy.
Yeah, it takes a team to do it.
I've done a fair amount of horseback riding, surprisingly.
I love horseback riding.
Compared to, I guess, maybe the average person. Like, I love horseback riding. I couldn't even imagine getting on a horse without a saddle.
Yeah, I asked him. I always wanted to ask this question. And I asked it to one of the riders that has plenty of experience. I'm like, does it hurt the nuts? He's like, oh, yeah.
Damn.
Oh, yeah. But you got to think about the adrenaline that's flowing through.
Right.
You're riding around the track, and then you have to jump off the fucking horse without wiping out.
Yeah.
And then doesn't matter, jump onto the next one. And these horses are like this tall, man.
Yeah. They're good horses too. They're well trained. They got to be desensitized to this too, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You can't just pull a regular horse off the.
Well, I learned so much in this. No, you can't. No, not a regular horse, dude. It's not a fucking regular horse.
They kick you.
Yeah. Oh my god. I learned so much during this past weekend just about the sport of Indian Relay, like how you actually. It sucks, but you gotta like break that horse to do it, and the good teams have good horses, and wow, it's if like I said, if you don't know what Indian Relay is, please check it out. And check out our events, Red Sky events. We have more upcoming events. I don't want to delve too deep into the upcoming events, but there's going to be more. Yeah. So before we wrap up, we'll just touch on a couple things. The Jays, of course. We always got to talk about the Jays. They won 3-0 today, shutout. But, yeah. Yes, but I mean, we're just pitter-pattering along. We have a 33-34 record as of when we recorded this, and it's almost to the point where it's not still early anymore. We're over 67. We're 67 games in. It's now or never. I wouldn't go as far as that, but there's one thing that I always say on this podcast. I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm not gonna bullshit and pretend like I've been watching a bunch of these games because I haven't, quite frankly. I've been keeping up with the Jays, the scores and the box scores and whatnot, but being with Indian Relay last week, had to be prepped for that, focused on that. And then I have a wedding to MC this weekend. Shout out my boy Connor and his fiance Macrina. I haven't had enough time to focus on Indian Relay, Oilers, and then the wedding coming up, and obviously pumping out these bad boys. So I've been keeping up with the Jays a little bit. I know Gosman pitched a complete game shutout. Was it? I think it was. Yeah, he pitched a complete game over the Oakland Athletics, and the Oakland Athletics. Oh, how do you get into this just a little bit? The Athletics, Caleb, they're moving to Vegas because no one goes to Oakland. I feel bad for Oakland fans.
I don't even know where Oakland is.
Yeah, exactly. They lost the Raiders to Vegas. They're losing the Athletics to Vegas. But here's the thing. Here's the thing I read this past week in sports. The stadium for the Oakland Athletics in Vegas may not be ready in time. So instead of the Oakland Athletics playing in Oakland until the Vegas Athletic Stadium is ready, they're just going to play in different cities around America instead of fucking playing in Oakland.
World tour.
I feel bad for those fans. Could you imagine?
All 5 of them.
They do have the shittiest attendance in like history. But I mean,
where's Oakland? California?
Yes, it's by San Francisco.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's across the bay. But damn, you lose your NFL team.
I mean,
They used to.
As a fan, I feel for fans.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's just the business. All these teams are moving to Vegas. I don't know what to say. So before we get into this week in sports history, just a touch on the NBA Finals. It's 2-0 Boston. Boston, they tore up the Mavs in Game 1, and it was a little closer, I guess, in Game 2. I would love to watch some of these games, but TSN still doesn't have a PlayStation app, so yeah. I don't know. I love me every year when I have the ability to. I always watch the finals of every sport, right? Whether it be, obviously the Super Bowl, NHL, Stanley Cup Finals. I've always watched the playoffs of the hockey, even when we were in the decade of darkness. I always watched that. NBA Finals I always threw on, and what am I missing? MLB, obviously the World Series, of course.
It was Father's Day last year that whoever won the cup, right?
Yeah. Was it Father's Day?
I'm pretty sure. We were over at the parents, and I remember shouting over, "Hey, whoever just won the cup."
Whoever just won the cup.
Avalanche?
Yeah. No, Vegas. Was it Father's Day?
Pretty sure, yeah. Or was that?
Might have been the year before when Colorado won. No, I think you're right. I think it was. Well, what were we doing last year for Father's Day?
I think we just went to the parents' house.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to talk about what we're going to do for Father's Day this year. Because I'm going to be in Calgary, in Banff. I'm seeing that wedding Saturday, and then Father's Day Sunday, right? And I'd love to take Dad golfing again, but
we'll figure it out off air.
Yeah, we'll have to. Shit, that's another thing I got to think about.
Busy time of year.
Very busy.
It's not my podcast, but this is the busiest time of year for me too.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, we only get fucking 2 more weeks of summer left.
Right.
Yeah.
3, I think.
Yeah.
If we're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. So, Anyways, if you took your time to watch all this way, we really appreciate it. We'll just wrap up as we always do with This Week in Sports History. This is a fun one. It's a really fun one. In 2019, June 10th, was it? Yeah, June 10th or it might have been June 9th or June 10th. It was overnight. Big Papi, David Ortiz, he got shot in the Dominican Republic while visiting down there. That's where he's from. And he's like a superstar down there. He's he's iconic. He's a Hall of Fame baseball player. David Ortiz played for the Boston Red Sox forever. Dude, I got that like Trump hand motions. I kind of like it. This is what he does, eh?
I guess so.
Is that what he does?
Something like that.
Oh, okay. I'm making my own. No, David Ortiz, Big Papi, loved him. He always had our number, but I never had anything against him. Dominican Republican hero. He went down there visiting. He probably has multiple properties down there. He was out one night, I think in Santo Domingo, and some dude shot him. Dude, that dude that shot him got fucked up, man.
Damn.
Yeah, rightfully so. I don't even know if he made it to the jail.
Who shoots people?
Well, I mean, it's the Dominican Republic, but who shoots David Ortiz?
Yeah.
A national hero down there. So I remember he came back months later, still in the regular season, and he came back to Boston.
Yeah.
Just walked out all pimping, no problemo.
Nice.
He's like 50 Cent. I mean, he got shot 8 less times, but still.
Yeah.
And the place went wild. Big Papi, big. They went off, right?
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was 5 years ago, which is trippy to say. And one more thing in This Week in Sports History. I covered it last year, but I'd like to cover it now. And you will understand why when we win Game 2, Game 3, or Game 3, Game 4, sorry, and then ultimately win the Cup. 3 years ago, I got in contact through various people that I met through the media with Bob Stauffer and Cam Moon, and they gave me great advice, and they're amazing people. Bob Stauffer, no bullshit with him. Guys, keeps it real. Cam Moon, same thing. And Cam Moon has been so friendly and an integral part of this podcast. He inspired me to actually make this podcast, and he directed me to kind of pursue this. And that was 3 years ago today. And we're coming up on 3 years of this pod. Episode 94. Ryan Smith's number. We all love our boy Ryan Smith. And without meeting Bob and Cam and John Sexsmith and everyone that I've met in the media, this wouldn't be happening. And without their guidance, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. So I'll leave it at that, and we'll be back for episode 95 when the Oilers make this a series. Peace. Move it, R2.